and welcome to Coffee with Coaches. Did you know it's not all about toxic positivity, spraying that out there? It's actually possible to create joy even in difficult times. And all you need to do is really implement and learn some skills. And the truth is, if you don't and you just wait for joy to come, you may get some, but it will not change you around, particularly in difficult times. So today we're going to dive deep into joy and happiness. And whoo, yeah, those terms, that's a thing in itself. But I'm Heike Fallon. I am a personal high performance coach. I help my clients with holistic self-leadership. And I got Shannon here with me.
Hello, good morning. I'm Shannon Passalacqua, and I am also a coach, and I specialize in helping women heal after miscarriage. Cheers.
Look at you, cute.
This brings me joy.
That brings you joy. Oh, joy, or is it happiness? Oh man, I know. The problem is the term has been used interchangeable. And if anybody watching here has comments on this, please comment below, because it is sometimes very difficult when certain terms are interchangeable use. And hey, by all means, I have used it interchangeable, but there are little differences. And the one I think that we both come to agree on for sure is happiness comes more from external factors. Like, let's say I've been working on a goal and I'm reaching the goal and that makes me happy. It was more like, let's say I'm getting a promotion. I've been working on getting a promotion at work.
Right, or buying something.
Yeah, or winning the lottery or something like
Right.
that. That's considered happiness. So it's a more an external factor. And joy is really more what's internal, that comes from within. And that's usually more the emotional component. And the truth is, both are important. We need both in life. We need happiness and we need joy. Now, it goes back and forth. Hey, is the accumulation of joyful moments creating happiness, or is the creation of multiple happiness moments creating more joy? Whatever.
Because I consider joy to be long-term, and I think you think happiness is more long-term.
Yeah, because I think happiness is more that accumulation of events happening that can be accumulation of joyful moments, because emotions matter, as well as external factors, right? And that is more like we overall feel more happy in life. So it's a long-term thing versus the joy. So far my understanding was, but hey, I'm always learning, right? Is more like a moment that we are overcome by an emotion that really touches us, that can be in, a moment of connecting with somebody, can be it's really that emotional state, but those don't last long. I mean, they accumulate for the state of happiness, but they last, they're shorter lasting in a sense. But hey.
And the question is it possible to feel joy in the midst of difficult times? And I believe it is. However, I do think there's a lot of practice that needs to be put in place before something difficult happens. That's not to say that, you can't start it in the middle of something difficult. I think it's a fine time to start it. I also want to be clear that we are not dismissing the other emotions that come through difficult times. I'm not saying put on a smile when you don't feel like putting on a smile and when you need to go and cry, but it is possible to have moments of joy, and there are ways to do it. And there are ways that I work with the women I work with. I help them find those moments. And so there are a lot of different ways that we can do it. And I think that's where we're going, whether you call it happiness or joy or whatever. There are ways to find moments of joy, even in difficult times.
Absolutely, because when it feels, because everybody has some kind of traumatic event happening, something that is very challenging, that is really evoking the feeling of sadness. But we can, when we really have worked on self-awareness as
Mhm.
well as knowing some strategies on how to really create joyful moments, happy moments, however we want to call them. And you can have little moments here. Or we talked
Mhm.
in another episode, it's about that spark sometimes, right? And
Yeah.
you use that. Sometimes it's yeah, you may not go feel and label that feeling in the moment the same joyful feeling that you had maybe before whatever situation you're in currently, but finding a little spark, creating that is the igniter to really learn and implement more different strategies to create joy. That's really what
Right.
it is. Because if you're just waiting to joy to come, we can very much be totally covered into
It's
all the negative thoughts, all,
right.
you
Well,
know,
and it's like anything in life. It's not just going to happen.
yep.
It's like we've talked about with gratitude. It's which you can see on our one of our last videos when we talk about gratitude. But it's not just going to happen. It's something that we need to work on. Do you want to talk about the science behind it and why
Well, yeah, I mean, so
where
the
joy
key
comes
thing
from?
is joy. Let's use the word joy right now mainly, but again, understand there are slight differences, but a lot of people use it interchangeable. Um, the processing areas are really the limbic system. So our amygdala is a big part, the hippocampus is a big part. That's why emotions are where the information comes into the brain, gets processed, interpreted, and that feeling of joy is the output. Now, there's a lot going in because it's matched to previous history and what else was going on. So there's a lot of processes going on, but the key thing is also in those little moments, and that's what's important. That's why little spark works in those moments where we're creating joy, or those little sparks of little joy. There is the release of neurotransmitters, and
Mm-hmm.
that's mainly dopamine and serotonin. Those are two neurotransmitters that get released that make us feel better, happier, also help with motivation. So especially when we're sad and not
And
motivated.
is it oxytocin?
Oxytocin,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
oxytocin, because and that's
Yeah,
when you're connecting with someone. And
correct.
that's if if you have held a baby or that's what's released by that oxytocin is released by connecting with another human being. So
And that's
do
right
hugs
there. So one strategy is hold some hold some little baby. No, but like hold
or give someone a hug.
give someone, exactly, just want to say that connection, right? Just giving somebody a hug, and the key is not just a little, little
Mhm.
clapping and that hug, but actually a real hug. And
20 seconds.
20 seconds, just want to say that 20 seconds have shown to that there's a different connection happening if
There's
you
a release of oxytocin that happens when you are hugging someone, which is funny because I shy away from hugs. I'm not a hugger.
I'm a big hugger. I love
I
hugs.
was like really in my element during COVID. And everyone is always like, "Oh God, you're not a hugger." I'm sorry. And I'm learning to hug. And my husband is trying to teach me how to hug longer.
Oh, that is so funny because during COVID, that's exactly what we did in our family. We started whenever we cross each other in the hallway between, everybody being on their Zoom calls, right? We cross in the hallway, we would give hugs.
Oh
And we
my gosh, you're so
started
cute.
that start just because there's, even though we were a family together at home, there's still not enough, there was
Right.
not enough connecting with others. And so it turned into we gave hugs left and right in our family, and it continued. So it's kind of neat that is like a positive out of this whole COVID pandemic thing, is
That's so
that
funny. I love
there's
that.
been more hugging um and not really, I wasn't really back then thinking, oh, we need to really get that, neurotransmitter release,
Right.
but it just was like, you know what, we need
But
more.
you knew.
I knew we needed more touch, we need more connection. And so
Mhm.
yes, so with your loved one, even with a friend, if you're feeling really sad, just giving hugs or receiving hugs, let somebody hug
Mhm.
you.
Yeah, and that goes to the women who I work with. When you're going through a pregnancy loss and you're experiencing a difficult time, let someone hug you.
Yeah.
It's going to make you feel better. You know, it's not going to make all the pain go away, but it is going to make you feel a little bit better. And that's what we're working towards, right? Feeling a little bit better.
Yeah, and sometimes that may require to go like, hey, you know what? I don't want to talk. Just give me a hug. You know,
Yeah.
that's just, I don't want any talking. I don't want anything. And then also, even if it's not a full hug, if somebody doesn't like that full embracing hug, just even touch, right? Just
Hmm.
touch on in some kind of form can be helpful and create that connection. And yes, you will not feel in the moment this overflow of joy
Right.
when you've been struggling. Don't expect that. But the more you do this and more consistent basis you do this,
Hmm.
that eventually will help, because if we're constantly trying to get a little bit of that neurotransmitter release frequent,
Hmm.
that's what changes it in the long run. So
That's what makes happiness.
that's what creates that happiness. Then that's right. So
So I think
go ahead.
I was going to go on
Oh,
to
go
number
ahead.
two, but if you
Yeah,
had something
that's
else to
no, I go too. I want to go to number two there too.
I really find very effective if I remind myself, and it's something that I like to write in the morning, to remind myself, is to feel the moment. And I think for me, that means like really noticing the moment. It's very easy to go through the day and just go from one task to another. And, you know, like when I'm saying goodbye to my kids at school, or, you know, when my husband leaves for work or whatever, it's very easy to just kind of brush it off and, okay, that's just part of my daily routine. But if you actually notice the moment, so when I'm giving my husband a hug and kiss goodbye, notice the moment. When I'm saying goodbye to my kids in the morning or when they come back from school, notice the moment. Just small little moments like that, when you start taking note of them and feeling them, really feeling them, that's going to increase our joy.
Absolutely. And that's again about awareness, learning to create awareness,
Hmm.
particularly when it's challenging. Same
Yeah.
goes for crazy, holiday season, people rushing,
Yeah.
going from one to one, and they need to, have their long to-do list. And it's really about stopping and for just a sec and checking in on the things that matter, like you said, the saying goodbye, but also being aware of, like, in the moment when everything goes not going so well, bringing in a
Hmm.
little gratitude too, like being,
Yeah.
seeing something positive in whatever happened. Yes, maybe you didn't get that parking spot and you can be upset about it, right? But there's something positive that came out of whatever. Maybe that's because you ran into your friend because you were
Right.
waiting. And you know what? It was good to see your friend. Appreciate a small little moment throughout the day.
I
Um,
think awareness is really key, and it's something, one of the biggest things I have my women do is I ask them, because when you're in the middle of grief, it is really hard to find anything positive, and it's very easy to find only negative things. So what I ask them to do on a daily basis is find someone, notice who's helping you, notice who's reached out. There's gonna be someone, you know, it could be just me, like, but there's someone who's helping you, and be grateful, be aware of that there is something good.
yeah.
So I think I agree, like bringing awareness to the situation, and it's not going to, again, it's not going to take all the pain away. However, it will bring a moment of gratitude.
And which, what we just said, it does do that, even though you don't feel it, it does do the neurotransmitter release. And it's about accumulating
Yeah.
and building more of those moments, and getting
Hmm.
more of that release helps us, because every negative thought, every stressful moment releases other, adrenaline, cortisol, all those, if it's all in that negative. So you can change the balance of the neurotransmitter, so to speak, by doing multiple small little acts of those type of awareness, feeling
Yeah.
present, um, to integrate that more in the day.
Well, and that goes hand in hand with maybe decreasing the negativity you're bringing into your life, which I think a lot of it can be found on our phones,
Yeah.
on the news, who you surround yourself with. Um, there's a lot of negativity that comes at us these days through social media and the news. And I think at some point you got to put up some boundaries of what you're letting in, especially if you're going through a difficult time. Maybe look for something that's a little more positive. Watch something that's funny.
Yeah, or like difficult times or not feeling the joy, then it's time. That's your sign to like, you know what is accumulating so much
Hmm.
negativity, cut that out, limit that, set healthy boundaries so that there is space even for, you know,
Yeah.
positive thoughts or appreciation or gratitude or being in the moment, being mindful. Meditation definitely has shown to help as
Yeah.
well. You know, if it's difficult, you know, to meditate on your own because of thoughts going through, try guided meditation. There's lots of different options
Hmm.
on different apps. And so there are lots of opportunities to create more happiness and joy, both. Now I kind of use it interchangeable again, but
I
it's
know.
it's about creating those moments, so those joyful moments, I should say, those joy moments, and that again will accumulate, and that's what shifts the state of mind. That's what makes you feel different. Again, don't expect it's going to be this one time necessarily wow feeling,
Hmm.
and I'm like, oh, I'm over the moon, particularly in difficult times. It does take time and accumulation. It's about really the awareness and creating more there. So
Well, and a way to kind of biohack that is through working out, moving our body, right? Because when we work out or move our body, it doesn't have to be a crazy workout. I'm not saying you have to do something crazy. But when we move our body, when you change your state of mind, but you change your state of mind because you're working on your gut, your gut microbiome, and that works all the way up and helps release and creates more moments of joy and happiness. I just think
absolutely.
that's so amazing. The science behind that, I just think, and it's new science that's coming out. I just think it's fascinating because we knew there was a connection, right? Like, oh, I get a runner's high when I run or I work out. But I think now we're finally understanding why it happens.
Yes, absolutely. So exercising or movement, it doesn't have to be the
Right.
rigorous,
Just going for a walk.
just going for a walk. The changing the state of mind through exercise, through movement, through moving your body is has shown to be extremely beneficial. And on you touched on it as well. The movement and exercising helps your gut and microbiome, but also on the other hand, highly always recommend at looking at your diet, at nutrition, because there is a deep correlation to us
Absolutely.
of connection between anxiety, depression, and other mental states that are connected to our gut
Yeah.
function. And it
And we
does,
will be talking about that in a future episode.
yeah,
We are
so
preparing for that
it
one.
does matter. So it at the end of the day, you have to really address it from all angles, depending on
And
what
what
stage you're in. If you're already
exactly.
generally, you know, happy, but let's say, as we said in the beginning, if you really struggle to create some joy, then you have to really address it from all angles and really
And
go
consistently.
consistently and go all in. Absolutely.
Yeah. And like, it's like a habit for everything. You just when you it's a practice, it's like a meditation practice. When you work on it and you try to add it into your day and you're really focusing on it, then when you are struggling, it's going to be a habit and you're going to notice joy more often and it will get you out of that funk quicker.
Yes. Just one little side comment on that, because I know people will probably want to know as far as nutrition. It is very complex and everybody's different, but generally, I would say when Clients ask me where to start. I generally say start with an anti-inflammatory diet, meaning less sugar, cut out the preservatives, those type of things. I know they seem very simple. The alcohol, like those type of things are first
processed food.
Yeah, processed food. So I would start there, look at it first, like as a general, diet, and intermittent fasting may help as well. And is not always needed, but depending on where you're at. So I would usually say start with a anti-inflammatory diet. You can Google it. They're pretty much all over the internet to get you started. Now, if you're really struggling and you have gut function issues, I always recommend talk to a professional, a nutritionist, because you need to fine tune it. It's very individual, but starting there is a good starting point for creating more joy.
Do you eat fermented foods?
I know everybody goes, you're German, you gotta like sauerkraut. I hate sauerkraut.
I hate sauerkraut, but honestly, I try to eat some every day because it's so good for the microbiome, and I don't like it. My husband loves it. And I'm like, but I try to eat that and just like regular cabbage. I add cabbage to my eggs now just because I know I need these things and I know it's going to help my gut microbiome. But I think it's interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not going there.
I refuse. I don't care.
There's other options. There's other options, but yes, those foods are very shown to be very, very beneficial. But
I'm trying to stay away from dairy.
Yeah, so and again, it's very individual. The key is though to understand that your diet can impact your feeling of joy and happiness. It can have. We do know now that there is a connection between your brain and your gut, and both directions actually through neural pathways. So it's not made up. And yes, what you eat matters for your mental health, your well-being, and how you feel, your mood. It absolutely can impact it. So with that said, it does impact the feeling of joy and happiness as well. So definitely something to explore. Awesome. Did we forget anything? I think we covered pretty well. I know it's difficult.
I think, but they're like small little tools, right? They're little nuggets. It's not like go change your entire life. It's about little nuggets.
Yeah, and I hope everybody watching that this gave you a few starting points, a few little tools and strategies how you can get started. And the key is think more small, integrate small little steps, and do it more consistently rather than thinking it's coming just at a one-time load down to you.
Right. And hopefully it'll help during the difficult times. And I know holidays can be very difficult for some people. So hopefully it helps you get through the holidays and cultivate a few moments of joy.
That's right. And if you want to reach out to Shannon, the information is below. If you want to reach out to me, my information is below. And if you like to have more support from a coaching side, we're here for you. And also watch our video, our recording from the Healthy Habits. It's Healthy Boundaries. Sorry, said it wrong.
Yeah.
Boundaries. The healthy boundaries, setting healthy boundaries, it is so important to really be aware of where you may have to set boundaries. So we did a great episode on that. Until next time, Coffee with Coaches. I'll hold you up your mug again. I love it.
I know. It's so cute.
Look at that. But it doesn't go out, huh? It'd be fun if that extra coffee on the sides where the beard is.
Oh, no.
No. I would totally go for that one. All right. I'll see you for the next episode. Bye.
Right, bye.
Oh. Where's the end button, Caroline?